Hello everyone, this is 10-minute revision. Shh, it's actually 11 minutes, but don't tell anyone. And I'm going to be walking through with you live what I'm doing in my fake exam that I'm sitting. And the fake exam that I'm sitting is an English language paper 2. And the paper that you see in front of you is from the first sample paper. And this is freely available from the AQA website. So what I'm doing before the examiner started me off is I'm reading through the front of the paper, and I filled in my name and my first name, and it's an hour and 45 minutes long. It tells me that I must have source A and source B, so you can see I was just checking that my source booklet was there. I'm going through the paper. It's an hour and 45. I've got 105 minutes. Source A and source B is there. I'm answering all the questions. I'm using black ink. I filled in the boxes already. I'm doing my rough work in the book, and I'm writing inside the spaces. There's 80 marks for the whole paper, 40 for section A and 40 for section B. And section A is going to be testing my reading, section B is testing my writing, and on the front it says I should spend about 15 minutes reading through the sources and all the questions. It says there I should leave sufficient time to check my answers. That's what I'm going to do. The examiner's now said I may start, so when he says that, I'm going to open the booklet, or she says that. And here it is, section A reading, and it reminds me again 45 minutes on this section. But for question 1, I'm only going to use source A, and I'm only going to use lines 1 to 15, and I'm circling that. I'm going to choose 4 statements, and I'm going to be picking out the ones that are true. So into the insert I go, and I'm going to find myself source A, which is the first one. And what am I doing with source A? I am going to look for lines 1 to 15, because lines 1 to 15 are the only lines that I need to use to answer question 1. So this is all about exam technique. Question 1, true or false. Okay, so I'm back to the exam paper again. I'm not even reading question 1 at the minute, or the source. I'm going to come back to that. I'm looking at question 2. For question 2, I need to use source A and source B, both, and I'm going to be using details from both sources to write a summary. So you can see me underlining the keywords. Summary of the differences between Eddie and Henry, so those 2 names. There's 8 marks for this question, so I should spend about 8 minutes when I get to it answering the question. And I'm going to be using the technique of SQI, and SQI stands for statement, quotation, and inference, and I'm writing that down now when I'm reading through the paper, so when I come back to answer the question I don't accidentally start using the wrong technique. Okay, question 3, and I'm still annotating this paper. Only refer to source B. Only refer to source B. Sometimes the exam board put a cheeky source A in there, but not only am I only referring to source B, I'm only referring to the letter Henry has written to his father. It's worth 12 marks. I'm going to spend 12 minutes on this, just writing that to remind myself. And it's how does Henry use language to try and influence his father? I'm going to use the PEA technique for this one. Point, evidence, analyze. That's what I use. Some of you might use Peter, some of you might use PEE. Analyze means zoom in on the language. If you use PEE as E for explain. I'm going to add an S in there for my students who are aiming for higher marks. What does a language symbolize? Okay, so let's see if we can take that language deeper. So point, evidence, analyze, and what does it symbolize? So it's source B. Don't write about source A. Someone always does. So not question 3. No. Don't do source A for question 3, because that's wrong. We'll find source B. If I could open the paper, that would be great. And oh, there's my wrist. You can't see what I'm doing. Here it comes. So question 3, I'm using source B. I'm checking the question again because it's a bit complicated. The letter by Henry, written to his father. So dear father, yeah, it's to the father anyway, from Henry. So that must be the one. I'm only going to use that bit of source B, only that bit for question 3. So here we go. PEA S for Q3, question 3. And I'm just going to remind myself, because sometimes I panic in exams, the second letter is from the boy's father, and I'm writing up here not question 3, not question 3. I'm not going to use this one for question 3. So hopefully when I come to actually answer the paper, I won't get confused. There is point, evidence, analyse, and symbolise. Right, question 4 then. Here we go, question 4. For this question, you need to refer to the whole of source A. Oh, that's so long. Together with source B, but not all of source B. The father's letter to a family friend. So I'm back into source B again. It's so confusing. But I'm going to annotate it up because I don't want to get confused. Source B, the father's letter to a family friend. I'm checking again because it is confusing. You must do this in your exam. Okay, so here we go. Just this on question 4. Okay, so I've written question 4, just this bit, not this bit, not this for question 4, not this page, just the other page. Okay, so I don't want to be writing about the wrong bits because you haven't got time to get it wrong in this exam. It's so short. Right, what are we doing? What are we doing for question 4? Comparing. Compare how the two writers compare their different attitudes to parenting and education. Why they said attitudes? We've been doing viewpoints and perspectives, so I'm going to write that. It's the same thing. It could be attitudes, could be viewpoints and perspectives, could be points of view. It means the same thing, doesn't it? Okay, so viewpoints and perspectives. Compare the different attitudes. We're looking for differences. Good. Compare the methods. So we need methods. And support your answers with references to both texts. That's quotations. Good. What technique are we going to use? PEMA. Okay. PEMA, AB, AB, AB. This is so confusing. This is the most difficult question out of all of them. 16 marks. 16 minutes. I'm not happy about that, but I've written it there. Just 16 minutes to answer this question. It takes a bit of planning too. What does PEMA stand for? Perspective. Evidence, such as quotations. Method. Is it a rhetorical question or repetition or what? I don't know. And we're going to analyse the effect of the method. So PEMA, and then we're going to jump from source A to source B. So we're going to do a PEMA for source A and then compare it to source B. So maybe we'll find a similar perspective. Okay, right, so we've done all that. What we've got to do now? Question 5. Writing section, 45 minutes, but there's only one question, so don't get confused. Don't just go and spend 10 minutes on this. It's 40 minutes for your argumentative writing. It'd be nice if I'm trying to write mints, I'm thinking about mints. No, 40 minutes, a whole 40 minutes. If you've only got half an hour left, that's fine. If you're less than half an hour, you have messed up. I'm reading the statement, homework, no values, students get done for them. Sometimes they should make you relaxing. Write an article, good. We'll come back to this in another video. Explain your point of view means argue. Why don't they just say argue? That's what it means. If you're explaining your point of view, you're arguing your point. And I just reminded myself we're going to use some dark forest devices, and when we come back and look at this question more closely, we'll go through what dark forest stands for. I'm going to remind myself what kind of plan I'm going to write. So it's going to be 5 paragraphs. We're going to put ideas. We're going to use dark forest devices, really simple little plan. We'll come back when we look more closely at this question and do 10 minutes of planning, intro, conclusion, and then your 3 big ideas are going to be in there, bullet point, bullet point, bullet points. So I have got my paper annotated up for each question. I've read through the answer booklet. I've glanced at the insert, not really very much. What am I going to do now? I'm going to read the insert. Don't forget to read the blurb, the headline, the little blurb at the top, and then read through it. I don't really read this fast. I wish I could. Some of you can. So I'm reading through it. If you want, you could pause the video and read through it yourself now, but then it won't be 10 minutes revision. Okay. Oh, don't forget the glossary. Tells you what the answer. If you get weird things, cultural references, it'll explain those for you at the bottom. Here we go. I'm still reading through. Like I said, if you want to do this properly, you can download the paper. It's freely available on the AQA website, sample paper 1. Still reading through. There's that glossary again. Turn over for source B. Yeah, it's more sources coming. Paper's all lovely and annotated. Okay, don't forget to read the blurb in the box. It gives you all the context that you need. Yeah, it tells you what a boarding school is if you're not sure. I'm sure you've all read Harry Potter, so you know. And then I'm reading through Dear Father, Love Henry. Yeah, reading through. Using the pen so I don't skip lines. Yeah. Oh, poor old George. He's very unhappy. Yeah, we'll come back and read that more closely when we look at that question. So I'm just doing a quick read through, get the gist of it all. Two sons, Henry and George. He's writing to his friend. Dad's writing to his friend to find out if Henry's just a dirty little liar or whether Henry's telling the truth. Yeah, system of education. Henry can't spell anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Talk to the boys. Okay, reading through. Very respectfully yours. And there we go. So if you can read really quickly, read with me. If not, come back to it. Yeah, I'm checking those words. There's that glossary down the bottom again. Didn't need it at the time, but I'm just checking now. And now I am ready to start writing my answers. And that is your 10-minute revision. It's 11 minutes. And I'll see you next time for your next revision session on this paper. Bye-bye.